The gentlelady from Florida.
Thank you. I yield myself such time as I may consume. Thank you. Just to rebut some of the arguments, to my colleagues, I ask, if this was so urgent, why didn't the Obama administration request these funds legitimately last year? Why didn't the last Congress fund it? Secondly, the CBO needs to have the actual funds reimbursed so that the savings can be tabulated. And also, Madam Speaker, I hold out this letter from the Undersecretary of State for Management, which says that this construction is primarily the responsibility of the United Nations. They themselves are saying that this is not a U.S. host country responsibility. And less than 2 hours ago, we received a letter, finally, from the State Department, even though we'd asked for it repeatedly, claiming for the first time ever that the current TEF surplus is, quote, now approximately $80 million. It's either the new math or it took the scheduling of the bill on the floor of the House of Representatives to get the administration to effectively admit for the first time that it has already given away $100 million owed back to the U.S. taxpayers. This is an outrage, Madam Speaker. Even now, the State Department doesn't have the honesty to admit its decision, but tries to hide behind the UN. In that letter, they write, as the State Department notified the Congress in December 2010, the United Nations advised the Department of its intent to apply $100 million of previously existing TEF credits to fund critically important security enhancements at the UN headquarters complex, end quote. But the UN cannot and will not do any such thing without express instructions from the U.S. Don't take my word for it. This is what the State Department told Congress when we started asking these tough questions a few months ago. The UN, quote, applies credits consistent with requests from the relevant member states and will not move forward with using them in other ways, end quote. So the administration owes Congress a long overdue explanation of, one, who instructed the UN to keep and spend $100 million that were payable to the United States? Two, when did they do it? And three, on what basis did they make that decision? After 3 months of repeatedly asking for the detailed plans and the cost and the estimates, we have received only, again, a single piece of cursory figures. This is it. The UN should give U.S. taxpayers back the $179 million that we overpaid. Plain and simple. If the State Department gave most of that away to the UN in some backroom deal, then we will make sure that we recoup these funds from the Department. With that, Madam Speaker, I reserve the balance of our time.